Rashid.
Good evening. Kindle the spark within. I'm going to ask each of you to make a very short voyage with me today. Jointly, we seek inspiration. I ask this profoundly mindful of the fact that at a very fundamental level, I am incapable of inspiring you. Only the stories I narrate may do that. Only the principles I recognize can do that. Therefore, I ask of you, to the extent you can, please focus more on the stories and on the principles. We begin this short voyage with a trip to www.dictionary.com to look for the exact meaning of 3 words that are integral to today's communication. These words are inspire, kindle, enthusiasm. Inspire, to fill up with an animating, a quickening, or an exalting influence. As we read further, we come to the history of the word. We read that this word has been in our language, English, for over 700 years. And it then meant, 700 years ago, it meant to breathe upon or to breathe onto, which has got an intriguing implication. 700 years ago, to be inspired was as essential and as effortless as breathing itself. Our second word is kindle. Kindle means to light or to set a fire. It's the oldest of our 3 words, over 800 years old. And then it meant a candle or a torch. Our third word is enthusiasm. For the mind to be possessed or absorb a lively interest or a pursuit. This is a younger word, only 400 years old. It comes from the Greek, but it means possessed by a god, or God possessed. This is quite an inspiring discovery. Then, if you are enthusiastic, your gods have taken possession of you. The 2 greatest inspirations in my life, no exception, my mother and my father. Today I'd like to share a few stories about how my father has inspired me. My father was a member of Rotary International. He gave much of his time, much of his effort to serving his community through the avenue of Rotary International. The motivation, the driving force for him may be summed up in 2 principles which really capture his essence. 1. Service above self. Second, goodwill, it begins with you. Let me take you back to a year 1972, January 30th. I was a very young boy sitting in the audience. My dad had organized a huge conference with the governor and he was speaking. Here's some of what he said. The very first Indian president of Rotary International, Nitish Lahiri, he recognized in all people, as I recognize in you, an inner feeling. And in 4 words, never to be forgotten, he urged Rotarians all over the world to kindle the spark within. Dad went on. He quoted the founder of Rotary International, Paul Harris. He said, "It is my hope, it is my belief that all Rotarians should be ambassadors for goodwill all over the world, to all peoples, in all countries, and of all religious faiths." He went on. Goodwill begins with you. It is the motivating power that makes this possible, that fills you up with enthusiasm. Let it radiate in all parts of your life. Now, these are very powerful messages for a young boy like myself. And throughout my life, they have been endorsed by the power of his example. So now, right here, right now, even though it's not rational, for a few moments, it's not me who's speaking to you, it's my Father who's speaking to you. It's just my voice, but the person who addresses you for the next few moments is my father. Toastmasters of Houston, kindle the spark within you. It is the fountainhead of inspiration. It is as natural and as necessary as breathing. Every breath you take generates a fuel called goodwill. That fills you up with enthusiasm. By default, here on earth, you will be doing the work of your gods. Our short voyage is now coming to an end. Let me summarize. If you want to be inspired, service above self. If you want to be inspired, goodwill begins with you. If you want goodwill, kindle the spark within. These messages are not new. They have endured. Every civilization, every century, elders of any civilization have taught this in some form or the other to their young, as my father taught me. This was a gift from my father to his son, a gift of inspired standards. I hope you find inspiration from inspired standards. These messages are all around us, and they are spoken in every tongue. For example, Margaret Fuller once said, "If you have knowledge, let others light their candles in it." And decades ago, 6, 7, may even be 8 decades ago, far away across the globe, in a subcontinent, a leader called Mahatma Gandhi taught, if you want to find yourself, then lose yourself in the service of others. Thank you very much.